Yo, what's up? My name's Semi, and I cannot believe I have not watched Dandadan because this shit is funny as hell. Anyways, this video is going to be on episodes 1 to 5 of Dandadan Season 2. Hope you enjoy. Momo, Okarun, and Gigi are at Gigi's house to defeat the ghost responsible for Gigi's parents' hospitalization. We've arrived at town, and everyone's just hanging around, and everything seems normal. So Momo decides that it's a good idea to go to the hot springs, but these freaks bust in swimming like crocodiles through the water, and Momo just goes, I heard a pack of wolves will disperse if you strike their leader. Like, bro, these are grown-ass men trying to assault you. I don't think that's gonna stop them. Right as Momo is being trapped underwater by this ugly bastard, the water supply of the springs bursts, and everything just starts crashing down. Momo uses this chance to get away and is almost caught by one of the crocodiles. But then the walls of the hot spring fall down, and Momo straight up Buster Keatons this shit and is chilling. And then we see Turbo Granny just lounging around since she was able to sneak in Momo's backpack to get here. Let's keep it 100%. When is this hag actually doing anything? Then these Chamber of Commerce guys chase down the crocodiles, and Momo and Turbo Granny get away scot-free. Momo is just walking around town, but do you see her chin? Why is she looking like the Gakuen handsome characters? We then come back to Okarun and Gigi, who have broken into a secret room in Gigi's house, and it's filled to the brim with talismans. The two guys are a little worried and just wait for Momo to come back, but when the doorbell rings, it's not Momo, it's more of these crocodile people. Then the opening plays, which is low-key groovy as fuck, but obviously I can't play it. Yeah, so apparently Crocogirls and Crocomom are Gigi's landlords who have let Gigi stay in the house for free, while his parents are in the hospital. Their family name is Quito, but I like Crocodile better. Crocomom and friends are pissed off at Gigi for quote-unquote trying to ruin the Quito reputation by saying there's a ghost in the house. And when Crocomom asks if he brought any spirit mediums, he just smiles. Like, bro, you know you can lie, right? Croco family is pissed off, and Crocomom pulls a double-barrel shotgun out of her ass, saying that she could accidentally kill him if she was hunting in the mountains. Like, what? Our boy Gigi's like, man, you could get in trouble with the police for pointing that gun at people. Yo, what's up? Thank the Lord this guy is here. The policeman opens his eyes wider than he's ever opened his eyes before, but then bro just gets sat down by the crocodiles. Like, what is this? He just became their dog. The croco guys are here, and one of them asks who Okarun is, and Gigi just says that he's Gigi's best friend. So this croco weirdo asks Okarun something Gigi's best friend would know, what his favorite soccer team is. Gigi's shaking his head like, nah, we are cooked. But our boy is able to get the correct answer because of the poster Gigi used to cover the hole they made. Then Crocomom says, yo, when's the girl coming? Obviously talking about Momo. And Gigi just straight up tries to deny it. Like, bro is tweaking. Just say that she'll be here in a bit. It's not that complicated. The Croco family is pissed off, thinking that Gigi's up to no good. And then we cut away to Momo, but to be honest, it's safe to say that the Gigi Okarun duo is gonna get cooked by Croco family. Then we see Momo going to check out a Tsuchinoko shrine with some goofy ass dude recording himself doing a headstand by the door for quote unquote boo tube. Anyways, Momo is like, this shit is a Tsuchinoko? Doesn't fucking look like one. And Unibrow over here is like, yeah, no, you're 100% right, I don't get it either. Anyways, according to the documents in the shrine, there's a giant snake, and when it gets hungry, the volcano erupts. Big back ass snake. So the town sacrificed children for 200 years to keep the volcano from erupting until they created this shrine. Apparently the snake thing at the shrine is actually just the snake skin, and enshrining it prevents the volcano from erupting so they don't have to sacrifice children anymore. Momo's just like, so where's the Tsuchinoko? And Unibrow says that they just say it's a Tsuchinoko shrine to get more tourists. But the story is more of a lesson so that people don't go sacrificing children, which is kind of self-explanatory. Anyways, Momo asks Unibrow why he doesn't just post the story on BooTube instead of those goofy-ass headstand, and he's pretty much like, wait, no, wait a minute, you got a point. Momo walks home and sees Croco family with Gigi and Okarun unconscious on the floor, and Crocomom says all the offerings are here, but why the fuck these guys got loincloths on? Like, weren't they clothed before? Nah, Okarun and Gigi got the prison treatment. Right after she arrives, Momo does not miss a single beat and gives one of the crocs a roundhouse kick to the neck, a second crocodile a knee to the face, a third a spinning heel kick, and then Momo gets dragged into a punch which she blocks, drags over a table into Fanboy's head and gives him a kick in the nuts, gets caught by Croco Unk, but then the goat Turbo Granny pops out and makes this guy slip and hit his head. Then things start getting hefty because the break core kicks in, and Crocomom gives Momo a double kick into the TV. Momo dodges a running sweep, a kick and a punch, and then she tries hitting Crocomom with random things around the house. But Crocomom is on that Seiko shit and pulls out the Jennifer Lopez Anaconda, pushing Momo into the hidden room. Momo's like, who the fuck is this hag? She's just another powerful hag. Like those exist. You got one in your own house. Wait, you got a point. Crocomom, looking like Majin Vegeta, reveals that Croco family has been sacrificing people to the Great Serpent Lord for the past 200 years. So all that shit that Unibrow said? Yeah, no, it's still happening. The location of Gigi's house was actually the original location of the altar, and Crockett family invites offerings to Gigi's house to sacrifice them. And the Crocs need 3 people. Momo, Gigi, Okarun. Oh shit, 3 people are right here, ripe for the picking. Then the floor under Momo turns to sand, and Momo starts sinking. She tries to get back up, but gets hit back down like a baseball. But Okarun and Gigi are back in action, slamming a crouch on the crocodiles. Okarun is about to pull Momo up, but the world has other plans, and the floor collapses beneath everyone, and they all fall in. Yo, why is Okarun low-key built? Anyways, there are hella houses down in the hole. They probably sunk into the sand over the years, which is why the houses were able to change so much over time. Momo and Okarun hear Gigi screaming, and he's hanging onto a rusty pipe which just snaps. Momo tries to catch him, but he falls out of reach and lands on something bouncy. This thing. Oh hell nah. The Croca idiots start throwing out gang signs since these poses will apparently keep the serpent from eating them. Okarun and Turbo Granny identify the serpent as a Mongolian deathworm, and Momo's pretty much like, yo, you idiots, this is a giant deathworm, not some god. And then they keep doing their chanting shit until it straight up eats them whole.
Oh my god, bro.
The trio decide to hide in a house to play it safe for now, but then Gigi turns around and sees both Momo and Okarun groveling in pain. Okarun's Turbo Granny hair pops out, and this big back motherfucker tries to eat Gigi. And Gigi sees this backward facing kid with white hair, which will be important in just a bit. Okarun is still tweaking the fuck out and tries to open his mouth wide enough to fit Gigi in there. Like, bro cannot be that hungry. Okay, but back to what's actually happening. Okarun just starts trying to off himself, but Gigi, being the goat, saves Okarun from himself and the deathworm, realizing that the deathworm is reacting to the vibrations in the house. Okarun's going in for round 2. Gigi stops him, and then Okarun just screams, "Let me die." In reaction to this, Gigi remembers his parents trying to hang themselves, but back then Gigi was able to save them. We see the white-haired kid again, and Momo tries to stab herself with a piece of glass, but our comic relief Turbo Granny saves her again, and it's just like, hey idiot, tie these bastards up. Nah, Momo is going at it. After tying up Momo, Granny says that the worm is emitting psychic waves that make people want to kill themselves, but for some reason Gigi is unaffected. Momo starts trying to stab herself with her psychic powers, and Gigi is sent flying across the room. Is that not ridiculous strength for a single piece of glass to launch him that far? Okarun and Granny are tweaking, and Momo's about to enter life. Gigi sees the kid again, and then the base starts hitting. Gigi saves Momo from another piece of glass and starts running with Momo, Okarun, and Turbo Granny in tow. Bro is so goated for this. Gigi slips, and Momo and Okarun try to jump off the ledge, but then Captain Underpants comes to save the day. Momo and Okarun are back to normal, and Captain Underpants, with this hellish bowl cut, turns his head 180 degrees like a freaky ass owl. Turbo Granny says not to make eye contact with Captain Underpants. His name is Evil Eye, who will make you commit suicide if you make eye contact with it. But thankfully, the worm's psychic waves and Evil Eye's curse are canceling each other out. Momo says, "Okarun, get it!" as if he's her goddamn Pokemon. Like, what the hell? Cue the music, because Okarun goes ahead and severs the bastard in 2, but it just grows a new mouth and then tries to eat everyone again. Everyone starts running, and Evil Eye takes advantage of this opportunity and pastes his face right into Gigi's eye line. And Gigi sees these kids dancing around like monkeys. Like, that cannot be that fun. Come on, guys. The white-haired kid, locked up inside some room, watches them play and starts monkeying around too. Like, bro, don't worry, you're not missing out on much. Then we see the volcano erupting and the white-haired kid getting burned at the stake while Croca family is chanting. And in the morning after his burning, he has awakened as some sort of ghost that only kids can see. Every time he looks at a kid, their parents off themselves, which means that Gigi's parents' suicide attempt must have been the work of Evil Eye. Then this kid who has the Captain Underpants cut gets the same treatment, and the white-haired boy starts dancing like a monkey again. Either way, the parents still commit suicide, and the kid gets used as a sacrifice by Croca family. White-haired boy tries to save the bowl cut kid, but he can't since he's a ghost, so he fuses with bowl cut boy and turns into the Evil Eye we saw clashing with the worm. Momo is trying to separate Evil Eye from Gigi, but Gigi's like, he's not a bad guy. And Gigi goes to find the kid's real body all the way at the bottom of the pit. This is not a good idea, Gigi. There, he finds Monkey Boy's real body, and Turbo Granny is warning him, like, do not get any closer, you idiot. Let's be 100%, Turbo Granny is always right. But then Mr. Deathworm electrocutes them and starts vomiting human-grade glue into the bottom room. And it looks like the worm had a little fun in its goon cave. Then we're back with Okarun, who's just chilling here like Yamcha, paralyzed by the worm's shockwave. Momo's trying to leave, and Turbo Granny's getting stuck in her own issues, but Gigi is in a vision with Evil Eye, who says he wants to play. And Gigi, being the kind and great guy he is, goes, okay, here we go. What you want to play? I'll hang out with you as much as you want. And apparently those were the exact words Gigi had to say to let Evil Eye take over his body. So bro is cooked. Turbo Granny's pretty much like, I told you so. And the Deathworm doubles down on the electricity and tries to eat Momo. But right as that's about to happen, Gigi slams that bitch into its own vomit, ripping his own clothes, turning into Captain Underpants, and kicks the worm's mouth off its face again. Damn, why is bro quadruple caked up?
What?
Anyways, Gigi has been taken over by Evil Eye and gives the back kick of the century to Momo. Turbo Granny's just screaming as always, and Evil Eye says that he'll show humans hell. The worm tries the electricity shit again, but Evil Eye uses Aizen's black box to block that shit off. He then turns the souls of the sacrificed children into a ball and impact frames that shit into the worm. Like, bro is hitting the Yuki Tsukumo with her virtual mass ability. But Evil Eye is a sharpshooter with that ball, bro. He actually just blows holes into the worm like it's nothing. And the worm, getting its ass beaten, escapes into the earth. Momo asks why Gigi turns into that thing, and Turbo Granny is like, dude, didn't you hear Seiko? That kid has ingeniously strong spiritual power along with his powerful physical body. As the last word, Turbo Granny tells Momo that he's not on her side, while bro is giving her a devilish side eye and launches his ball into Momo. Momo is able to block the ball, but Evil Eye dashes to the side and knocks her into a wall. Right as he's about to kick the ball into Momo, Okarun appears and clashes with Evil Eye. But Evil Eye is able to win the clash because of Gigi's massive calves, and then tries to kick the ball back into them. But Okarun, with his speed, sprints out of there with Momo. Okarun is doing what he does best and running for his life. And Evil Eye is just standing still, kicking his ball around like bro is taking it easy. Bro's laying back. Then he walks out of the room like, where the fuck did they go? Dude, you weren't looking at them in the first place. And look at the mess you've made. Okarun and Momo are in the clear and spot Plantera's bulb in the wall. Okarun, with his heavenly Yuma knowledge, says that the Mongolian deathworm are known to weaken the enemy by electrocuting and spraying poisonous fluids. So pretty much Okarun and Momo gotta get the hell out of there. But Momo's just like, how the fuck we gonna make it all the way back up there? Momo asks if the deathworm has any weaknesses, and Okarun says that they can't handle the sunlight because of their symbiotic relationship with bacteria. Okarun says that he has a plan to get Momo out of here, and she can come back with a rope or something, and Okarun will handle Gigi. Okarun hits Momo with the "Ciao, Momo-chan," and he kicks Momo up, and she barely reaches the top with the help of her psychic abilities. Momo tries to make a rope with the shower curtains, but yeah, that shit doesn't even make it halfway down. So she thinks of an ingenious plan. Arson. Momo sets the fucking house on fire and calls for a fire truck. Back down in the pit, Okarun and Evil Eye are duking it out, and Okarun is just dodging everything like a beast. Evil Eye does an uppercut and down slam, which Okarun dodges. Then Okarun tries to hit Evil Eye with this Superman ass attack, but he's too weak, and Evil Eye just spins him to the side. Okarun then gets baited to dodge with the ball, and Evil Eye catches his dodge mid-air, but Okarun is able to get out of the way of the impact and gives a kick to Evil Eye. Evil Eye does the most low-effort swing I've ever seen, and he just stands there as Okarun runs away like, bro, where did your ball go? Oh wait, never mind. Okarun dodges another set of attacks, but Evil Eye is able to change the trajectory of his ball to slam Okarun in the face, and Okarun gets stomped on, looking this horrific stare in the face. Right before Evil Eye strikes again, Okarun dodges again, and Evil Eye pretty much says to stop running because it's annoying as hell. Honestly, fair. Bro is really just standing there in his underwear. You know what? I think Evil Eye should go commando. But then Evil Eye says that the fight stops there because the deathworm's poison is a little taxing on Gigi's body. So he just pulls out this move and traps Okarun in a house made of souls. Like, was bro not trying the entire time? Evil Eye steps into the box and starts beating Okarun up against the wall while laughing his ass off. Nah, bro is getting cooked. Well, not as hard as Mahito against Itadori and Nanami. But then Okarun gets pissed off and grabs Evil Eye's mouth and says there are 3 things you did wrong. 1. You hurt Momo. 2. You violated my friend. While he's monologuing, Evil Eye throws another punch, and Okarun dodges that shit and hits Evil Eye with the 1-2 buckle my shoes because I'm about to jump straight into this bitch's face. Evil Eye goes in for another punch, but Okarun goes full throttle and pounds Evil Eye on the wall with 20 hits. Evil Eye smiles after the 20 hits and goes in for the attack, but Okarun goes for another 20, and another, and another, and another, and then blasts Evil Eye out of his own house, knocking him unconscious and winning the fight. Then Okarun goes, the 3rd thing you shouldn't have done is piss me off. Not gonna lie, I feel like that was the most hype fight in Dandadan yet. and then he collapses. But it's not over yet. He still needs to get out of this poison pit. But as he's thinking, he hears, "Turd nuggets, damn it all!" It's the goat's Turbo Granny, and she's stuck in the earthworm's vomit. Oh my god. Turbo Granny has accepted her fate as being stuck down here forever, but then she starts tearing up when she sees Okarun. And Okarun rescues our goat with some wooden planks. Turbo Granny says, "Don't trip, don't trip, don't trip!" And they're both stuck now, calling for Momo. Ain't no way bro fumbled that hard. We're back with Momo, who has set the house on fire, and the police are trying to arrest her, but then an earthquake hits, and it's the death worm coming out into the sun. Apparently a long time ago, as a kid, Gigi told Momo that earthworms come out of the soil when it rains because they breathe through their skin, and if they were to stay underground they would suffocate. So Momo's plan was to get the giant death worm to burn up in the sun by setting the house on fire and using the fire hoses. The house is in the way of the sun though, so Momo just throws this fire truck into the last wall of the house, and the earthworm finally burns up. As it dies, it vomits all the crocodiles and the volcano erupts. The alarms go off and tell everyone to evacuate because of the eruption, and Majin Vegeta is just screaming at Momo. "This happened because you killed the giant serpent lord!" But Momo realizes that there's no way the legend was talking about the worm, because the legend talked about a serpent rising into the heavens, but since worms are weak to the sunlight, that wouldn't make sense at all. Momo realizes that the target of the legend was actually the hot spring fountain that burst open, and the fountain bursting open was a sign that the volcano was going to erupt. So Momo, being the smart girl she is, decides to make a hose out of the giant worm by sticking its ass in the hot spring fountain and cooling down the magma with the water. But Crocomom gets in the fucking way with her. "Oh my god, how dare you to do this? I will sacrifice you to Lord Volcano to calm down the volcano," whatever. Yeah, Lord Volcano? She's completely thrown away the Lord Serpent shit, like, what the hell is even happening? But right as Crocogang charges Momo, Unibrow comes in and pieces them the fuck up. He says that Seiko is actually his master, and apparently Seiko told him about some kids that were coming, but he didn't notice that Momo was one of them initially. Anyways, he's here to hold back the Crocos, which is stupid as fuck. Like, how does Unibrow piece them up? But Gigi and Okarun together get beat up with no trouble at all. Anyways, Momo is peacefully watering the magma, and then we see a purple ball striking the worm. We all know who it is. It's Captain Underpants, and he's here to beat up everyone, because that's what he wants to do. First, he goes for Crocomom, and bro has enough strength to break her arm even when she parried his kick. That arm is flapping in the wind like a flag, bro. Evil Eye goes in for another kick, and Momo saves Crocomom, but then he tries another, and Unibrow steps in to land a clean shot to Evil Eye's head. Evil Eye uses the momentum to twist around on top and slams Unibrow on the ground. Trying to get a second hit in, Momo saves Unibrow, and we get a pissed off Evil Eye. Croca Idiot over here is still on the "it's all your fault" shit. Like, I'm about to start calling you Croca because of how stupid you are being. Evil Eye starts slow walking forward with Aura, which would be tough if bro wasn't only wearing underwear. And Momo saves everyone with a radiant call out to duck. But then Evil Eye uses the moment when nobody's looking to land a downward kick on Momo, but our goat Unibrow simultaneously knocks Momo out of the way and dodges so that nobody gets hurt by this kick. With all the dust in the air, Crocomom hits Evil Eye with her ult, Jennifer Lopez Anaconda. Evil Eye tries to counter, but Momo, with her insane support, pulls her out of the way and binds Evil Eye with her psychic hands. Unibrow hits Evil Eye with the Daisetsu-san drop and kicks Evil Eye off his feet, and Momo grabs his arms and legs with her powers. But Evil Eye is calm like a pepper. Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I meant cool as a cucumber. What does calm as a pepper even mean? Evil Eye is cool as a cucumber because he just uses his ball to break off the connection between Momo and the rest of her hands. This ends up making it so that Momo can't use her psychic abilities anymore. And then he pulls a Sanji and tablespin kicks Unibrow into a tree. And right as Momo is about to get a roundhouse kick to the face, you will not believe who arrives. From the middle of nowhere, Mantis Shrimp Guy from season 1 lands a clean ass hit to Evil Eye's face and somehow gets Evil Eye on the defensive. Bro is cracked as fuck, and Momo is just as surprised as us, going, "Why are you here? What about your son?" And he just says, "Can I tell you later?" And then the tractor beam is lowering down the mannequin from season 1 with Seiko standing on it. What the fuck is happening? I think Evil Eye is just as freaked out as us. Like, bro Momo does not know what to do here. Anyways, Seiko and Mantis charge at Evil Eye. Poor Mantis just got here and takes the ball to the head. Right before he gets hit, Evil Eye's just staring at him, waiting for his skull to get smashed in by that ball. And then Seiko and Evil Eye get stuck in a dodging and parrying battle. Holy shit, look at Evil Eye's clean ass movement. Seiko is pushed back, but our resident boxer is back in action and tanks a couple hits in Seiko's place. But then Seiko is back with a vertical swing. She ducks under a punch and counters Evil Eye's next punch. Evil Eye tries to counter the counter and Seiko is left on the ground. She takes a swing. Evil Eye jumps and tries to stomp on top of her, but Seiko rolls around and dodges the attack. Then Seiko's massive boom, her cigarette, hits his head and makes him flinch, and she clashes with Evil Eye. Then Seiko calls on Taro and he dashes forward like an Uma Musume racer. As he approaches Evil Eye, Taro gets broken into pieces, but that's not it. On the inside of Taro are talismans, and Taro envelops Evil Eye like a glove. And the Taro and Seiko duo have captured Evil Eye. Mantis Guy was there too, but let's be 100%, he didn't do much. Mantis Guy's son, on the other hand, is using the worm hose with the tractor beam to cool the magma. This little guy is so cute. And Mantis Guy is like, well done, keep going. This is so fire. Seiko is talking to Unibrow. But where are Okarun and Turbo Granny? We cut to Momo and Mantis Guy, who are running back to Okarun. Mantis Guy punches all of the debris away, and the pit is filled with magma. Momo is still trying to save Okarun and is straight up trying to jump in the magma, and Mantis Guy is trying to save her. But Mantis Kid has a better idea and tractor beams all the magma up. Momo opens up the magma, and somehow Okarun and Turbo Granny are still alive in there because of the worm's goon liquid. Momo is just agape, and Okarun's just like, I believe that you come and save me. And Momo, who hasn't seen Turbo Granny since the beginning, is like, oh my god, I forgot you existed. Momo accidentally pulls Okarun into a hug, and bro immediately folds out of there. But then Momo embraces him in a hug, saying she should be the one apologizing since she said she would save him but couldn't do anything. Honestly, a great end to this arc, but there's one more episode released, and of course I'm gonna cover that too. Seiko and the gang are exercising Evil Eye out of Gigi, and once the chant is finished, they check to see if it worked. Oop, never mind, time to chant again. Evil Eye is fucking tweaking inside of there, and it still doesn't work. So I guess Evil Eye is just gonna chill inside Taro for now. We're taken back to Seiko's house. Everyone's eating. Can we talk about this PNG that they used for the food? Anyways, Ira is complaining that she wasn't invited to this whole Gigi escapade, and she's just arguing with Momo as always. But to be honest, we need more Okarun and Ira combat action. That'd be tough as hell. Mantis is crying because his son likes milk and is doing well. Wait, why does his son look like Flynn from Skylanders? Then Ira's like, why are you back? And apparently on his planet, it was too hard to milk the cow because of the liquid comprising the atmosphere, so the Mantis family decided to live on Earth. Okarun is nerding out about Mantis Shrimp's planet. Mantis Kid is asking if they can't stay here, but Ira says, no, you can stay here as long as you want, just because the kid is so cute. Then everyone becomes silent, and Seiko and Unibrow start talking about Gigi's current state. They're calling for a Hayashi performance to separate Evil Eye and Gigi. But even if they had this Hayashi performance, they might not be able to separate the two because Gigi's spiritual power is so strong. And even if they could, Gigi might be left with lasting effects. But then, Gigi starts screaming about how hot the food is. To make sure it's not just Evil Eye imitating his voice, Taro slowly opens the head. And it's him, making this stupid ass face, but it's him. Gigi's apologizing and crying since everyone's safe, but then Seiko splashes cold water on him, and we get a bastards, I'll kill you from Evil Eye. But then she splashes him with hot water, and we get a ow, what the heck? Somehow Gigi is both Gigi and Evil Eye at the same time, depending on what water you splash him with. And the world must be ending, because then Seiko apologizes for letting Okarun, Momo, and Gigi go by themselves, since if she knew Evil Eye was there, she wouldn't have sent them alone. Apparently, Evil Eye is a mountain spirit, which are at the level to be revered as gods. In any case, Taro's barrier won't last long because Evil Eye will eventually adapt to it, and until Evil Eye is exorcised, Gigi needs to be within sight of at least one person at all times, because, you know, what if he turns into Evil Eye? And also, everyone must have warm water on them. Later, everyone's just walking out of the house, and Mantis Guy reintroduces himself as Peeny Weenie. What a brilliant name. That's pretty much it. The gang's heading over to Gigi's parents, and Momo and Okarun are sitting in the back seat, being awkward as always. But let's be 100%, they're pretty much already together. Like, Momo puts her hand on Okarun's, and they're both blushing. But then Gigi interrupts this sweet moment, going, yo, Momo, Taro won't fucking listen to me. Anyways, these two should start dating already. But Taro is absolutely violating Gigi. Oh my god. Gigi goes on about not being too worried about his parents, and how they were always hyped diaper anyways, so it's a good change of pace to be in the hospital. But then we get there, and bro starts crying up a river, and Taro accidentally pulls this move. On the TV is the situation with the town. There were no casualties of the volcano, the crocodiles are all arrested, and Crocomom is on the run with their broken arm. Serves her right, honestly. She says that she spent 200 years growing the worm that big. So somehow Granny has lived 200 years? Then she crashes out on the foliage, like, what did the plants ever do to you? Right after, she turns into this monster thing. Yeah, so we got Chimera ants in here, and she says, "You've turned all us subterraneans into your enemy." Yeah, right. Then we see Momo calling to Okarun to walk with her to school, and Okarun is frozen in his tracks, probably remembering what happened the other day, like, shit, bro. The two walk to school together, and Momo talks about the Evil Eye exorcism. Apparently, they want to do some goofy ass performance to entertain Evil Eye, so it's easier to pull him out of Gigi's body, but nobody actually wants to do the dance. Then Momo's friends arrive, and apparently in the images online, you can see Mantis Guy's UFO, but not the death worm. A little strange, but I guess we'll see what that means later. Then we see Ira get to school, and she knows she's cooked flat without a pancake, because she revealed that she was the one that spread the rumor about Momo. Then Momo and Okarun come to talk to Ira, and Ira hits them with the, "Yo, father, what the fuck? Stop being chummy with me in front of my class." Yeah, okay, Ira. Anyways, as always, Ira is glazing Okarun more than the Mongolian death worm glazed his goon cave. But the real reason Momo wanted to talk with them was to ask if they can sleep over at Momo's house, since she and Seiko can't guarantee they always have Gigi in their sights. Like two tsunderes to a flame, Ira and Okarun say, "Oh man, I guess there's no choice," and agree. Momo tells Ira that she doesn't have to force herself to hang with Momo and Okarun if her friends think bad of her for it, but Ira says that it's her own fault anyways. Taro's barrier wears off, and Gigi is now himself, well, until he touches cold water, and everyone arrives back from school. Ira's in some Met Gala ass fit, like, what were you thinking wearing that shit? Everyone starts eating, the girls are talking about makeup, Gigi's asking Okarun to play Smash Bros later, or Smash Bruh. Wait, what the fuck is moisturizing milk? Seiko asks Okarun to pass the soy sauce and accidentally spills a drop. Yeah, they fucking wrecked the house. Anyways, that's it for episodes 1 to 5. If you enjoyed, like and sub. See you later.